Scorpio, welcome to your full moon in Libra reading for April 6, 2023. Full moons close out cycles. You have the Fool for your new cycle. New beginnings, a leap of faith, a fresh start, freedom. And I think that things are probably closing out that will allow this new beginning for you. Okay, so I like it. It's definitely a leap of faith. It is understanding that life is a bit of a gamble, but take it as it comes. Deal with it as it comes. That's what a leap of faith is. Okay? It's definitely a new adventure of some sort, though. And it does mean that you are packed with everything you need for this new adventure. It's all there for you when you need it. And that's how you can have faith in a situation. All right, so let's see what's being closed out for you. You have the Temperance card, patience. Patience is, your patience is just about up. The Temperance card is a slow change, but it's an important one. It's very internal, and it needs time. This is refinement. It's taking those big chunky bits and mushing them down, and it's taking base metals and making them into gold, and that does not happen overnight. It's a long, arduous process, and that's closing out. I think you've been going through some transformations and probably being patient for quite some time, and it's probably not happening as quickly as you want it to. You've probably had to juggle a few things, a few people, a lot of situations, and trying to stay positive through it all. Sometimes you can and sometimes you can't. There's a lot of water around you, though, so I do think that you need to continue to drink a lot of water. I think you're flushing some impurities out, especially with that Temperance card. Because, again, taking base metals and changing it into gold is purifying it, so you can be purifying the internal. And that doesn't have to be just physical, although this I can see is very physical, but also on a emotional, spiritual, and mental level. Okay. The Two of Pentacles can also be financial juggling, but it can also be health. You may be carrying, literally carrying a lot of weight. Maybe you're carrying heavy things or something, but you can kind of feel like gravity is pulling you down harder. I don't know how to explain it. It's not even necessarily more grounded, but things can feel like your body can feel heavier, even if it isn't, even if you haven't gained any weight, because that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the pull of gravity. Okay. But it is trying to keep all the balls up in the air, all your tasks, all the situations, all the people you're dealing with, and trying to do it with a light heart. Oh, I like to see that. Ace of Swords, you find clarity, and when you find clarity, you take action. This is good. This is triumph and security. This is my yes card. It is the Excalibur card. Only the truth can prevail with this card. And so you have to be true to yourself. Speak the truth. And be truthful to yourself. Oh, nice. You have the Emperor card here. It's kind of like Yeah, it's like taking matters into control. It's getting matters under control. It's taking control of a situation. The emperor is that. He is the ruler. He rules. He can rule with an iron fist, or he can rule for the good of everyone involved. That's up to you. But with that Ace of Swords, you see the truth of a situation, and you just take action. And that grounds you. That stabilizes you, right? Everything's kind of up in the air, but the 4 is 4 feet on the ground. It stabilizes you. It kind of, and I don't mean this in a negative way, it kind of helps you to mature. I was going to say grow up, but I don't feel that. I think it's a maturity that you can get from this energy, which is Libra energy, which is next to your sign. So when you have two signs that are next to each other, they're very different. And so I can see why you would have to reconcile those two opposing forces to find that nice in between, and to purify it, to refine it somehow. But the Emperor is laying down the law. Now, this can be authority figures, bosses, fathers, just people in authority, but it feels to me like you kind of gain some authority here from this situation. If you want to become your own boss, that's also possible here. But you would be laying down the groundwork. All right, so with that you have a Page of Cups at the end. This is my Pisces card. This can be somebody you're dealing with, or it can be you. In any case, this is an expansive card. And I say, it can also be insecurities, but with the Emperor, I feel expansion. But let's get another card to clarify it. It is otherworldly, the Page of Cups. Whereas you can be very grounded here. This is not grounded energy at all. In fact, it's quite up in the air. But that's okay. That's okay, because this is the Law of Attraction card, and the Page of Cups, the Pisces card, goes extremely well with the Law of Attraction, because that's their otherworldly kind of energy. If anybody believes in it, it's a Pisces, or somebody who has those characteristics. Because it's otherworldly. It goes beyond the physical. It goes into something broader and expansive. And the Eight of Wands is my Law of Attraction card. So where thoughts go, energy flows. And these are your passions and your thoughts focused and flowing in one direction. Again, it's like I got the clarity. I see where things are going. Now my mind is going in this direction. This is the way I'm going, and no one can deter me. I'm the Emperor. I say what happens, right? That's kind of the energy that I'm getting here, which is nice. And although by the end of the 2 weeks, things may still be up in the air, at least you're focused and you know where you're going. And it can be with the Page of Cups, but it doesn't have to be. That can be you. That can be you exploring different ways of thinking. And again, it's an expansive energy. So it's broadening your horizons. It's broadening your spirit. It's broadening how your belief system even. Okay, let's get some clarification. Sagittarius, so you got a couple of pages here. So this is a very youthful energy. Could be somebody that you're dealing with, a fire sign, or Sagittarius, somebody with a fiery temperament. But this is also a very expansive card. So on either side you have expansion. This person likes a new adventure. They want to go on adventures. They want to expand their philosophy, and to do that you have to go into new cultures, right? You have to explore new ideas, explore new cultures, explore different ways of thinking, explore different kinds of philosophy. And then you can find clarity and decide what suits me, what is right for me, and what it is that I want to ground and create and stabilize in my life. But we're still at beginning stages here because they are the pages, right? or these people may be at the beginning stages, but the Emperor is is not. I mean, he's, like I said, he's matured. These are allies that you may be seeking, but you can find it in a lot of ways. So this is the card of looking outside of yourself to advance yourself. Let's say that the Ace of Wands, let me do it this way, the Ace of Wands, the singular, right? The Ace, is the beginning of a passion that you have. Really a fire lit within that this is what I want. This will bring me ultimate happiness. Then we move to the Two of Pentacles, where we're like, okay, well, if I want to do this, one thing can happen or another thing can happen. You're dealing with duality, right? You have a good scenario, you have a negative scenario. The truth is usually somewhere in between, but you can see those two opposing sides, and it's good to look at that so you can gauge where you are within these two polarities, right? So you could say fail and success, right? And anything in between those two, you can move between. But you have to see those two polarities. You have to know that they exist. It can't just be like, I'm going to win and that's all there is to it. No, you have to be able to see both of those. But the 3 is creativity, right? So you can take those parameters that you've set and you can create something wonderful within those parameters. And here you're looking out into the larger world. So it could be that you are taking a class. The Page of Wands is my student card. You can be studying new modalities. You can be taking a workshop. You can be just a student. You can be looking at self-help books. It's that kind of energy, right? It's something that you draw from the outside to help you to move and advance forward to your ultimate goal. Okay? And this does advance you quite a bit because you end up with an 8, which is a lot of power. It's a lot of energy put behind your passions. And that's focus, and that's the law of attraction. What you think about, you bring about. Attention is energy. What do you put your attention on? Okay? All right. And here you have the King of Swords. Interesting. King of Swords. This is my Libra card. We are in the moon that belongs to Libra. So these can be pulling up your Libran, I don't want to say emotions, but it does, because the moon draws your emotion. All right? It changes the waters in your body and your metals. That makes sense with the King of Swords. So, what does Libra do? Well, Libra's fair. Libra wields the sword of truth, right? And so the King of Swords and Libra can be the military, it can be the law, it can be police, it can be justice, it can be judges, it can be all that kind of just energy, right? It's just. This may be somebody that you're dealing with, somebody who can be helping you to make sure that all those passions and ideas go forward. But it can also just be the balancing act. Now, here's something that's pretty interesting, I think. Temperance is 2 different elements, fire and water, that need to find the equilibrium, okay? Thought and emotion. So the thought is the solar energy that you put out into the world, and it moves molecules. But water is the thing that attracts. It is the emotional element that attracts what you're feeling. So you have to put those 2 into balance, right? You have to make sure that your thought and your feelings are moving in all the same direction so that you can achieve what it is that you want to achieve. the Ace of Swords, right? Taking action on a situation where you're the boss. Now, this may be something because it's the Fool, right? It's a new adventure. It may be something that you haven't done yet, that you've only been considering, and you may take the action during this 2-week period. Or you're closing out a scenario where at some point you will take action. You're closing this out so you can take action. But I do think that it's being closed out so you can at least see the clarity of, first of all, your actions in the past and how that can steer you in the direction of the way you want to go for the future. Now, if in the past you have been just active and just doing, you just do, nothing wrong with that, but you may be then moving into this more passive energy of where you're magnetically attracting, where you're paying more attention to your emotion and making sure that emotion coincides with your thought of how to proceed. Because again, we're still sort of at the first stages of this situation, especially with the Three of Wands. We are becoming active with the three because it's that creative force, right? It's putting things into action now, even if it is just looking out into the larger world saying, okay, so what's the best way to put this into action, right? Let me see how other people have done it. Let me see how, the Joe Dispenza did it, because he's somebody who has real tangible results. That kind of energy. All right. Interesting. And busy. I definitely see you being busy here. I definitely see action being taken. I don't think there's a lot of rest here. Even though you may need one, but I don't know. I think you're coming from a place of not inertia, but patience, meaning that you had to temper yourself. You had to temper your energy. You had to tamper it down a bit, because we're waiting for the alchemical change. What does Spirit want you to know? Yeah, you have the Hanged Man. All right, so while you're ready for action, like I said, things may be up in the air for the 2 weeks, right? Maybe they haven't landed yet. But there's a lot of things that you can do in the interim while you're waiting for this big, massive change. You're just at the beginning of your action that you're taking, and so the Hanged Man is getting the right perspective, and I do think that that's what's happening here. Because in the time that you're waiting for things to transpire, in the time that you're waiting for things to solidify, to have that gold in your hand, right? While you're waiting for it to actually take place, the Hanged Man is saying, see things in another perspective, see things differently. That's the two opposing forces that you can reconcile with, right? Those are those two opposing forces. You may have to sacrifice one thing for something else. That's the Two of Pentacles here. Possibly. You can be stalling, but I don't see that. I see that you want to take action. You just might not be able to do that right now. And that can be due to some resistance. But here's the thing. This is a cycle that's being closed out, right? And so it feels to me like this is the moment where you get to tie things up in a bow, right? All the stuff is in the box now. It's all been curated and and packed in nicely, and you put the tape over the box, and now you're just going to wrap it up in a nice little bow and set it aside. This is your gift. This is what you've learned from the situation. Okay? You have triumphant security here as the Ace of Swords, meaning that you are beginning a new action that is destined to become triumphant. Because the swords, the aces, hold the entire cycle It's a seed, and it holds the entire cycle. So you can go through the motions, go through the actions. It will become triumphant, and you can become secure in what you have learned, in changing your internal world, solidifying and maturing your ideas. You find clarity, and it's with the Hanged Man. For the next 2 weeks, things may not be in your hands. There can be a bigger energy steering your wheel while we are in this delicate phase of refinement. Okay, it's good. It's good. The hangman can sometimes be the hardest part because you want to move on, but until you find that perspective, you won't be able to. So look for the perspective, find that clarity. All right. Well, I hope this has been helpful. I will return in 2 weeks with a new moon reading, and I do dailies. Thank you for listening. Take good care.